we have some people in my family who are hearing impaired. And St. Jaime Hilario Barbal was a De La Salle brother. And everything went along fine. He was teaching, and his hearing loss became more and more profound. So ultimately, he could no longer teach and became a gardener, because you didn't really have to hear so well to do that. He was in Spain, and the Spanish Civil War came about. And when the government forces came and rounded up the priests, his attorneys encouraged him not to say he had ever been a brother, because he was working as a gardener at that point. And he said no, he was not going to deny what had been his vocation. And he was executed. And you think about how many times it's easier for us just to say the easy thing or to do the easy thing. And I think these guys are amazing that way, because I think what they did is not something, most of them don't have their own feast day. We don't hear homilies about them. They may be obscure in the larger world, but they shouldn't be obscure in the way that they can help us to walk our own journey, because they're just out there waiting to help us. Daniel Camboni, he's one of my favorites. So Daniel Camboni was Italian, and he knew he was called to minister in Africa. So he became an African missionary with a friend. Things didn't go very well. So he ended up back in Italy, kind of his tail between his legs after just a couple of years. And he sat and thought about what had made this a failure, why he hadn't been able to connect with the people he was so eager to bring Jesus to. And the more he thought about it, the more he realized it was because he was talking Jesus at them. He wasn't talking about Jesus with them. And he came up with what was a novel approach for that time, which was Save Africa through Africa. He engaged the indigenous people in the Sudan, which was where he was much of the time, and encouraged them to do ministry. This was not just Father Daniel Camboni up on the pulpit and, in the ambo, and not trusting anybody else, not thinking anybody else knew anything, thinking was better than the people that he was ministering to. It became a both-and situation, and ended up dying in Sudan at a ripe old age. But I think that's another one of those lessons that he's not somebody you hear a lot about, but I think that's the way Jesus did his ministry, and I think it's the way he wants us to do ours, just one step, one person at a time.